from my entrepreneurial path. And they're actually, two of the stories are really stories that I've heard from other people, but they're stories that were really impactful on me. So we're gonna have a little like group entrepreneurial therapy session together. We're gonna go a little bit deep on this. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
All right, turn to your neighbor, give your neighbor a high five if you're on board with this. Let's get close. Arlo needs a neighbor. You need to slide up. There we go. Take care, Arlo. Perfect. All right, so EO, the organization that's sponsoring this event, has, I've been an EO member for more than 10 years, I think 10 or 11 years. Joined when I was 25, and EO's got a couple of educational experiences. We were just chatting about them in the back, actually, and outside of kind of our local group, forum groups and chapter groups, there's a couple of partnerships with big kind of educational things. There's one with London Business School that EO does. There's one with MIT. And these are kind of like continuing ed sort of programs. So in 2011, I went to one that EO runs called, excuse me, a little bit cold, called EMP, the Entrepreneurial Masters Program at MIT. And so it's held, it's a partnership between EO and MIT. And it's held at this house kind of out in the suburbs. It's their kind of continuing ed facility for MIT. And it's a 3-week program, so it's 1 week a year over 3 years. And so you go in as an entrepreneur, you've got to be a CEO, co-founder of a business, and you sit in this classroom with, in my class it was actually 67 CEOs, so it was me and 66 other people. About half of our group was from outside of the US, so it wasn't 100% US. We had folks from all around the world. EO folks, Matt Zeman. Matt Zeman was in my same class with me as well, so we went through this together. And one of the speakers that I remember from this was just absolutely impactful. Was a guy named Cameron Harold. Anybody heard of this guy? He's kind of known in EO circles, yeah. So Cameron started a company called 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and I love so many things about Cameron. One is the story I'll tell you that he told us, but also the fact that he ran a business that actually makes frickin' sense, right? Like, I've been running software companies for 20 years, and like Judy can explain well what hers does, but mine I'm always just like bobbling over that. We do this, we sync these things, and then that's valuable, and people pay us, and God knows what. 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I mean, you literally have junk at your house, you call 1-800-GOT-JUNK, some people come to your house, they pick up your junk, they take it away, you give them money, that's how they make money, right? Like, God love it, it's a business that actually makes sense. And Cameron did a great job with this business, so he kind of built out a franchise model, started it, and he's Canadian, I think he started in Toronto, and then grew it in a couple of US cities, and so had a really, I don't know whether he had an exit or continued to trying to stay in the business for a while, but all right, so we're painting the picture for you. We're in this classroom at MIT. It's 6 years ago. I'm still running this company, iContact, that we sold in 2012, just a year later. Maybe it was due to Cameron that we sold it, I'm not sure. And Cameron says, all right, successful entrepreneurs, let's talk about success. I'm going to read out to you the 14 traits of a successful entrepreneur. I told you the story. Yeah, don't give it away. So he says, all right, I'm going to read out the 14 traits of a successful entrepreneur. You're all sitting now, he says this to us. When you get to the third item, there'll be 14, you count them on your fingers, you get to the third item that's like, that one just completely nails me, like that's like reading my horoscope, man, that one's it, right? When you get to your third one, stand up. So he goes through this list, and let me just read a couple of these to you guys, and instead of doing the stand-up thing, I'll just read a few of them instead of the full list. I want you to just raise your hand if this seems reasonable, like something that you've experienced in your life as an entrepreneur. So, number 1, talking very fast, often with racing thoughts. Anybody? Am I doing that right now? Somebody slow down. Having overconfidence in your abilities. I mean, come on, it's the right amount of confidence, right? Yeah. Withdrawing from friends and family when you're working on a project. Yeah, that one hurts. We've all heard that a lot, right? Having decreased need for sleep. I see this one as like, having decreased sleep, right? Maybe decreased need. I wish I had a decreased need for it. Feeling sad or hopeless for long periods of time. Judy shared in her story, like all her developers left on the day before launch. That's painful. Who's gotten a deal almost to the finish line and had it fall through? God, painful, right? Yeah, those don't go away for a while. Engaging in risky behavior when we're running our companies, gambling with our life savings, spending too much to chase a dream. Anybody feel that one? Definitely, especially when business is just kind of starting out, and in the software world we're trying to find product market match, and we're trying to say, all right, is anyone going to buy this thing ever? How much should we keep investing in this? And the last one I'll share with you is feeling severe fatigue or lack of energy. We're tired. Nobody on that one? You guys are just too tired to raise your hands. All right. Perfect. All right, so Cameron then says to us, so by the way, we're all standing, my entire class, right? So these are people from different cultures, different ethnicities, different, ideals, different goals, different languages, certainly different parts of the world. The one thing we have in common is that we're all entrepreneurs. And Cameron says, so bad news, you're all standing. Those are not the 14 traits of successful entrepreneurs. Those are the 14 clinical traits used by psychiatrists to diagnose bipolar personality disorder. Fuck. So why do we willfully sign up for something that causes us to experience the symptoms of mental illness? Like, it's funny, but it's also real, right? I'm not obviously trying to diagnose myself or anybody else here, but let's just keep in mind that, like, by being an entrepreneur, we actually do experience, right? I mean, I saw a lot of hands go up. We actually experience these symptoms as if we have a mental illness. Is that depressing? All right, I've got more. All right, so story number 2. Many folks, I think, don't know the story of the founding of Entrepreneurs Organization. And I've heard this a couple of times. I've never actually talked directly to the source, but